Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. I'm Lily.
I'm Lauren. Hi, everyone. The puppy, he already went down, but we have a surprise guest for later.
We had down there, a surprise guest. I actually have a surprise guest in the room right now that got tired of crying in the corner and has now lied down, which means that we might be able to do this, both of us, for some strange reason. We've never had our dogs on camera
And
or
now
even had
today.
any dog situation, but today you had your dog there, and I decided to leave my door open for my dog, which I never do. So
You know what?
today,
Universe said give the puppies their 5 minutes of fame.
yes, because I was like, this is not going to work. She had already came here and started whining and crying because I put obstacles so she can't reach me. Um,
Oh, no.
so she's crying behind the obstacles right now, and now she's lying down. So I think she's accepted the fact that she can't get close to me.
She's like, that's as close as I can get. I will take what I
Yeah,
can get. Well,
she
Charlie was a little
literally,
upset. He went
oh,
downstairs. He felt that I was not giving him the attention that he deserved. So now he's punishing me by taking away his energy.
oh, well,
He's just like his
maybe
mama. He's just like his mama.
Lauren, that's today's lesson.
It sure is. You better show up when someone wants to be loved. You better show up.
That energy will be taken away if you don't show the love,
Yeah.
and you will be punished. So
Yeah, I'm feeling it right now. I'm feeling neglected.
let's get into it, because our doggies are the ones that sometimes teach us the best lessons. They know they are pure love, and sometimes we need to learn from them too.
I think
Um,
my dog definitely meets me where I'm at.
okay,
10 out of 10
yeah,
times.
yeah. Our dogs are beautiful at doing that. But that's what we're talking about today, guys. Meeting people where they're at. And we've heard this a lot, and it's a saying. I mean, you can even Google meet people where they're at. Like, what are they even talking about when they say that? So I'll start if you want, or you start by saying what that means for us.
I mean, I would love to tell you that initially when we discussed we were going to have this topic to discuss today, the first thing that comes to mind is meeting someone when you know you're not at the same vibrational frequency, maybe the same educational level, maybe the same economic status. So for me, it goes to the physicalness of what that person is, their character, and how can I meet them, but also why would I want to meet them, right? Because let's keep it 100. If I'm not considering every human has a benefit for me, then why do I want to meet you where you're at? And so really, Lily, I'd love to know, can you give me an example of what is meeting someone where they're at to you? What does that mean?
So, like you said, it in many ways it's different. Sometimes it's friendships, it's family, it's strangers,
Absolutely.
and it's making a decision not only to give that person
Cheers,
your
guys.
energy. Yes, not only to give that person your energy, so you have to make a decision that you're going to give this person your energy, whether, like you said, sometimes we have conversations or we give people our energy because we believe that there is value in giving them our energy. But that means you've made a decision to give this person your energy, whether you believe they might find any value in it or not, or whether you believe having that person give you energy back has any value for
That's
you.
important. Yes, that's
But
important.
in the spiritual way of thinking, we would think every person has that value. Unfortunately, we are not at that level yet. But
Keyword.
but we will be. And it's hard sometimes, and it takes, being humble in different ways, because when it comes to the economic one, meeting people are at whether they have more or they have less than you. And it can be complicated to meet people where they're at. If you're on the other side of it, if this person has more knowledge, more money, whatever it is, if you're on that side, it can be even more complicated for
Intimidating.
one person to be able to meet them in the middle than for the other person to go the other way around. But it also, if you are on the higher end of either of these things, it can be difficult to get
Yes.
rid of the ego,
Yes.
to be able to meet that person. So it really does take a lot of work on both ends to be able
I
to meet
think
somebody
if you
where
don't
they're
mean, if I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think it needs to be synergistic.
Mhm.
Both parties want or have to see some type of a value that comes out of the other. Because when you work together and you meet someone where they're at, it's more like, I think it means coming with an open mind and an open heart, right? Why do we meet them there? Why does the man who is an immigrant here and is a janitor and is working 3 jobs, why does he want to speak to the CEO of the head, of the what? I'm just trying to relate just that one scenario, right? And well, he's going to learn so much from the CEO, right? He's going to learn so many skills that maybe he wouldn't be exposed to in the low level of whatever position he's in. Now, why would the CEO want to take time out of his day to speak with this individual? Because I think I'm coming to learn, I don't know if you could speak this on yourself, but I'm coming to learn that the greatest gift that we have on this earth is to be able to serve others and to be able to help another brother, sister, especially with what is going on in the world right now. I just feel that it's very, let's be humane. And that's exactly what that situation is describing. The CEO is being humane, looking at this individual who may not have had a mentor or a chance and took a chance on that person because he's a human and deserves it. And that's a big part as to why you want to meet them. You never know what someone has to offer unless you
Mhm.
start saying hello. How
Yeah.
are you? How are you for real? Not just, I'm good, like that's what I think we need more of right now, especially in this time and that age. We need people to ask each other, what are your favorite things to do in your spare time? Like, what do you like to do? Let's get to know each other. There's so many people that are stuck on our phone, which we are so fortunate to live in this technology era. But let's be 100% honest, there's not a lot of social interaction anymore, not human social interaction. So meeting them where they're at is actually maybe a little foreign to some people, because this is not, people are in their own bubble.
Well, and people want the instant gratification.
Yes,
So if
yes.
I'm not happy, I don't want it. So with friendships, yeah, that's what it is.
Isn't that the
People,
truth? Keep it
people
100.
are like children sometimes. Like we have a more evolved way of thinking as we get older, and children sometimes they can't comprehend certain things, so they're just like, nope, yes, maybe,
Yes,
and,
yes.
and as we become adults and we can understand, these different topics that we cover here, hopefully, we can see that and see that not everything, not every relationship, conversation, friendship, all of it will be something that gives us something or gets us closer to that perfect life that a lot of people think that they want to achieve, or that friendship. So our friendships aren't going to be perfect, our
Mhm.
family is not going to be perfect, but we're going to have to meet them somewhere to continue to have them.
But now, if I can interrupt you,
Yeah.
because this is so relatable to my own life, as I'm sure you could come up with an example personally yourself, but I'm just thinking, as we're having this conversation, friend in my life, wish them love, but maybe I'm not ready to meet them where they're at right now.
So we move on to when is it time to leave? How did you
Wow.
decide? How did you decide that you couldn't meet them where they're at?
Oh, wow. Okay, so
Why?
now that one for
When
me
was
is,
it time for you to leave?
I think, that one, now you're making me really question myself and I really go deep. And I like that because that's what this is about. And like, fam, I want you all to ask yourself that question too. Go deep. This is interactive, but Lily, when you asked me when did I know what time it was to leave, when I saw after multiple attempts of trying to meet them where they're at, and although I had thought we were on the same page regarding certain values for each other, and again, I think I have made this clear on multiple different episodes, but for me, I value respect, and if there is ever some type of a disrespect, I put a block up almost. So I had experienced some disrespect, and I just was not, or still am not, willing to meet them where they're at currently, to even try to communicate a win-win solution or no deal at all, because I'm all for it. I'm all about communication. But after how many times of communicating, or after how many attempts of trying, is it acceptable? Is your worth valued enough for it's time to leave? I can't leave them
Everyone,
better.
I think everyone is going to have a different time. Some people, it'll be the first time.
Yes, it is. Some people,
Yeah.
it's the 30th time,
But I don't think it necessarily says, anything positive or negative of the person. I think for a lot of us, it depends who the person is.
Very true.
It depends whether it's family, because we've been taught so
yes.
long that, family, you keep them around forever. So you have to.
Yeah, God, you're not allowed to distance yourself from family. And
so you got to keep them. Yeah.
Like, really?
So I think the length of the friendship has a lot to do with how much, how many opportunities they have or they give us. And also, I think whether it's professional or not, because that can all be combined. You can have a long professional, you could have the same thing applied to somewhere you've been employed maybe, or working with someone, or have a business relationship for a long time. How many times you're willing to give them those opportunities based on that.
Can we discuss? I'd love your input, and I'm sure the audience would love your input. How many times, how many attempts, how many tries do you think is too much before someone starts to lose respect for you based on your integrity? Like, when is too much?
So for me, it's varied so much depending on those factors. I really do apply a lot of different filters to making these decisions, and to what, exactly happened, how they reacted, how I reacted, how I felt, how I continue to feel, even if this person might have changed. How do I continue to feel? Because you can, so when it comes to business, for me, a lot of the time I did, set boundaries that weren't professional, that I made sure these are the boundaries that I want, aside from the professional boundaries. Like, this is how I need the culture to be for certain things that I took on, usually outside of my, main job, my main project. When I would take on any other project, I would be very clear, because as a female, and sometimes working with my image, those lines can be blurred for people, and I want them to make sure that they're very clear. So for me,
I love that. I respect that about you, girl.
No, with those, the amount of time that I had invested into these things immediately that was different for me. No matter how much time had been invested, I did completely close that relationship from the first time that it was
Wow.
broken.
It was one and done. That was it.
Because
No
when it comes to
excuses.
business, it was very much laid out. It's not a friendship. I don't start being your friend and then tell you, I need you to do this, this, and this. And the day that you don't do this, we're not friends anymore. So it's completely different, you know?
Can you imagine if that's how work happened? Oh my goodness.
Well, maybe some people's friendships would work out even better because they knew the expectations that were being set.
True.
And
Very true.
you know, it might help some people. Let me know if
Right.
anyone thinks that this is a crazy concept.
I'm literally having an epiphany. Could you imagine starting a friendship and being like, listen, if we're going to get into this friendship contract, right? This is what I expect out of our friendship.
Yeah.
Like, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck from the beginning.
Yeah.
Then there's no misunderstanding. There's no confusion. There's no communication. I think is the ultimate key, and I think specifically mature communication, because obviously we all speak, right? We all know how to speak, but it's, can you regulate your emotions? Can you get your point across without being aggressive and psychopathic?
I think we do it. We do it sometimes with our romantic, you know,
Yes.
relationships. We do
Yes.
tell them. And I know I was always very clear of what I expected, what I put up with, what I, you know, how I was raised. So I think we do it sometimes with our romantic relationships, and we do it in business,
But not with friendships.
not with friendships.
And I think I can see that being such a huge success if we just laid the groundwork from the beginning, like, hey, Lily, I think you're really cool and I would love to be friends with you. But if we're going to get into this friendship contract, I expect consistent respect. You know what I mean? Like, just something like that, you know? Like, I feel like, wow, I've never encountered a situation in a friendship level where the expectations of what I wanted out of a friendship were so clear.
But I think that's what makes them sometimes so selfless. You know, friendships.
That is true. That is true.
Sometimes friendships, that's what, you know, they get built on. And I think maybe that's why that's also a good, you know, base for a romantic, you know, relationship. That's why maybe having that friendship is always good too, because, you know, there will be compromise. And yeah, even in work, there can be compromise, but I am very clear with certain things that I do not compromise on. And I think, you know, we do that also with romantic relationship, things that we don't compromise on, but not friendship.
But if you think about it, this all ties right back into meeting them where they're at, right? Yeah. So if I, as a friend, if I don't necessarily lay out the expectations of what I want out of this friendship, but I've agreed by being your friend that I want to meet you where you're at, because you may not be on the same level as me. I know I personally have friends that aren't on this spiritual journey with me, and you know, and that is okay.
And how do you deal with the lifestyle that they live that maybe, I wouldn't say approve, but that you wish better for them?
Of course, that's a big one. So I'm going to be very clear.
How do you feel?
I try to always share resources, because I feel, like I said earlier, it is my duty, my obligation to not serve others, which it sounds like a very Roman Empire, like I'm here to serve you now. No, but you know what I mean? Like, I want to serve, I want to spread the word. I want to, when I learn something, I want to educate everyone. I think God gave me this loud voice so that I could just speak my truth to everyone, or speak what I learn to everyone. So how do I deal with it? And there's one friend in particular that is coming into my mind, and I love them with all of my heart, but they will never
Never
No,
say
I should
never.
not say that. I shouldn't. Let me revoke that. Let me revoke that because they probably can and will. But at the moment where they're at right now, they do not, they are not as open-minded and open-hearted to, they support me. Yes,
Yeah.
girl, I'm here for it. I love what you're thinking. This positive mindset is amazing. That I notice, that is one thing I notice with friends who are not on my spiritual journey, that I impact and I influence them by positive speaking. So maybe they're not open to following the divine and learning the journey of meditation and, you know, really trying to come to peace with the spiritual connection that's inside of us, right? Maybe they're not ready to do that. But it's the little things. Like I said, it's the, hey girl, don't speak negatively about yourself because words have so much power, right? And now I hear, after me saying that multiple times, guess what? They say that they hear me in their head before they speak.
I
And
love that.
they're like, my normal go-to is like self-shaming or something. And then I'm like, I hear you, like, girl, don't speak negative, you know? Because it's so true. I don't allow people to speak negative about themselves in front of me. If that's the only way I can help right now, meeting them at where they're at, I do not change them, but I'm trying to put them in some positive energy force. That's what I try to do. Spread positivity.
And if this friend continues to be negative, will you then have to decide if you want to keep this friendship?
See, now that's a different one, because when I was talking to you earlier about a different friend, I was immediately saying I'm not ready to meet them where they're at because of a certain value that was broken. But with this friend that I'm discussing, they didn't break any of my core principal values. They're just negative because they have their own life issues going on.
What if there was a possibility that their negativity could impact you?
Now I'm going to be honest. This
person, but without knowing that it'll happen, just knowing that there's a possibility you could be in a situation with them where that negativity could have a big impact on you.
So I'm going to give you an example because it has already. This one person is experiencing, I want to say, a lack of sleep. So to that point, their cognitive abilities are getting very blurred. It's a brand new mom. I feel for my mamas out there. I don't know how they do it. But long story short, because she is not able to be sleeping at least 3-hour stretches, she's becoming negative. But only negative about her life, but it is seeping into our everyday conversation. Say that again.
You don't think it's depression from giving birth in the life changes?
Oh, I'm sure it is PTSD, which that's a whole other conversation. But still, I have seen the negativity every day, and what I have done, because it was impacting me. You know, girl, when you wake up every morning to a text message that is, I want to kill these kids, or you're not, but you know they don't mean it, but they're just so exhausted. You know what I mean? Well, I can't start. Me personally, I'm an empath, and I can't start my morning off reading that type of a text message because it will kind of set a tone for my day. As we've discussed, I like to start with affirmations, meditations. So it was impacting me to the point where I had to speak up and I had to say something, and I had to say, listen, babe, I love you. I'm here for you and all of the stuff you're going through. And I support you. I know it's not easy, but I need you to be a little bit more conscious of all the negativity that you're speaking to me, because it's taking a negative impact on my energy. I am feeling that my day is being impacted by your negative energy. And once I just was direct, I was honest, I was clear, I wasn't rude, epiphany, they saw it. And now that negative talk, when I tell you has one, I don't want to say 360 because that means full circle. I 180'd. It's almost like I now have to pry it out of her, which I feel secretly also bad now. Does that mean that she's meeting me where I'm at and she's now not being her true self?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or is it I'm meeting her where she's at and I'm trying to show her there's some positivity. Let's not focus all on the negative.
It sounds like she's adjusted for you.
Yes. So she met me where I'm at because she knows I'm on this positive mindset, spiritual journey, and she respects our friendship so much that all I had to do was communicate directly, not disrespectfully. And if it's someone that's your real friend, they'll meet you.
Do you wanna get my opinion on that?
Of course. I'm sure the others want to hear your opinion.
So maybe I've done it to people too. Maybe I've also, although I can't think of a specific example, maybe I've also told someone, but I think sometimes we have to be careful with whether the person is venting or they're negative all the time. So hopefully your friend was maybe having negative patterns and not venting to you. Because if they were venting to you, they need someone to talk about their sad life to.
Yeah.
And I do have people in my life, and if any of them happen to watch this, I'm sorry, but
love you.
A lot of you acknowledge it. A lot of them acknowledge how I can be like a therapist to them, where they share their problems. Yes. And they share a lot of negative stuff with me, but I'm here to listen.
And I respect that, girl, because that's a big thing.
And I try to give them advice. And I think one of the quotes that I sent to you recently is how sometimes we have to be the light. And everyone around us could be dark. And that's where we might, as the light, have to meet them in a little bit of their darkness and bring that light to them.
I literally feel that is hitting home right now, because that is going one-on-one with the book I'm reading, which you recommended, about Dolores Cannon.
Oh, that's funny. I need to reread that book. I completely forgot most of it.
Oh my gosh, girl, and everybody, if you guys do not know Dolores Cannon.
The 3 Waves of Volunteers in the New Earth. I know the name. I know Dolores. I follow her social media site, although she's in other parts of the universe. She's in another dimension. She can hear us.
She sure can. We're tapping in right now. But what I want to bring that in is you're saying maybe we have to be the light to those people. And I specifically want to make it clear. I am here for anyone to vent and to I have always been that person. I'm sure you have too, because we just have those similar characteristics where I've always said, do I have therapists written on my forehead? Like, people just come to me with all of their issues. But like, I think that's what we were put here on this earth for, was to listen and to just provide a little bit of light. And that's where it comes in with that book. Some of these volunteers are just meant to be, which is just to be their energy. And that is impacting and influencing others without anybody even knowing, on a subconscious level. And that could be what we're talking about right now.
And that helped me a lot too, that book, although people may not understand with what you're saying with volunteers. That just, it's a concept in the book that, that is presented where volunteers would be the spirit that comes to earth. But I think along with that, with what you just said, I have also been shown that by the divine previously, where I felt this, pressure. I don't know why. I always felt this pressure from a very young age that I wasn't, giving enough of a positive impact to the universe. And that's why, although I may have done one thing for a living whatever time in my life, anything outside of that would be dedicated to hopefully bringing hope, bringing positivity bringing, some light to this universe. Whether I refer to it as light at the time, I don't think so. I think
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to inspire people. I just always wanted to, help people find that courage in themselves, and hopefully sharing some of the stuff that I had been through in my life that would help them, or sharing knowledge, whatever it was that I was doing. So, but then I learned from the divine that we don't always have to try, and I love the way that Dolores Cannon presented it in that book too, because sometimes we can just enter a room, and without saying a word, as long as we are in that room, we are in that part of the world, which I think I told you that concept before. Wherever we are at, we are just meant to be there sometimes, to just be, and we don't have to say anything. And sometimes that can help with a friend. Meeting them where they're at might just be just being there for them, and not necessarily doing too much, but listening.
I mean, Dolores Cannon makes this one example and says, you could just be in the grocery store walking by somebody and subconsciously influencing them without even knowing. And I never even thought of that concept like that. But I truly feel that some of these people put on this earth, and I do feel that you and I are one of them, I do feel that our energy radiates out of our pores, whether we are here with you in person or via virtual. You could feel our energy. And I do feel that we have a good heart, good intentions, and we really are focused. I mean, this is why this podcast has come to life, is because we're trying to spread a positive message. We're trying to spread light, laughter, joy. And I think that it says a lot about, we're meeting everybody where they're at, right? We're meeting everybody. People
We're
are meeting
attempting.
us. Say that again.
We're attempting.
We're trying. We're doing a great. Listen, this is all the divine's plan right here.
Yeah.
This came, like you just said. You always just said you felt as if you needed to spread more positivity and more light.
Yeah.
Well,
And
here you
that's
are,
the
my
reason.
friend.
Well, that's the reason that, after having our talks, because we would talk so much over the phone, on social media, we would have these long conversations, and that's where, I felt like we should share some of our perspective, and hopefully, have other people get something out of it, whatever that might be. And I want anyone who's watching this now to please, tell us below how you meet people where they're at, because we can learn from you. We're still learning. We're all learning. So maybe there's some kind of concept that you have, discovered, something that you figured out that helps you, that other people might need to see things a different way, to be able to meet people where they're at. And earlier we touched on this a little bit, and I want to touch on it again, because you mentioned your friend, and you mentioned how that can impact us. And maybe as of today, we should share a practice. And I'm going to see if Lauren knows what I'm talking about, because this is something that I have a lot of people in my life currently doing. And sometimes I think it's a little selfish to be teaching people all these things, because I think all I'm doing is making them do a lot of work, and they're better people around me. But a lot of people in my life now do this practice that I've been fortunate enough to learn from a very, very wise person, and that has helped them so much. And I want to see if Lauren knows what I'm talking about when I say that. What would I have recommended if you were talking to that negative friend, or you would see that text, to not have it impact you for the rest of the day?
Oh, I'm ready.
So, okay. So here's what I want us to do from now on, every time we close our show. So we're going to show you guys, yes, as we close. You see how we she knows what I'm saying.
We synced
I
up.
have a lot of people in my life doing this now. And to give you a perfect example, my mom, someone who doesn't understand spirituality. She's got her own divine connection with the divine, very strong connection, but doesn't necessarily understand all these other concepts that we talk about, and is not necessarily interested in learning them at the moment. But she does this practice, and it's amazing how she's, taking it, and she does it all the time, and she's told me how much it helps her.
Oh my gosh, I do this a lot now too, but wow, I'm so happy for your mom. But
So I have a lot of people in my life that do this. To whoever's listening,
it does help.
I think we need to do this at the end of every episode from now on. As we wrap up the episode, Lauren, because you already know what I'm talking about, please tell us what we need to do when we receive some type of energy, get some type of news, think a thought that is negative, that is lingering, that is making us feel something. What do we need to do?
When any negative energy, negative thought, anything negative comes in your
conversation and action,
we revoke that energy. It is not for us. It does not serve our highest good. So we revoke it, and then we envision ourselves being protected with a white light. I've always told you mine is white and gold. I don't know why. I have white and gold protection, but it is a white light covering your whole body. It is protecting you. Nothing can penetrate this white light. So you revoke that energy, that negative energy. You could say it in your head. You could be with the person who's speaking the negative energy, and in your head, take a moment. I revoke this energy. It is not for me. It does not serve my highest good. And then you envision this white light. I could see it. It's a circle just surrounding myself. And you know you are divinely protected.
Everyone that I've taught this to, again, I was taught this by a very wise person that I hope to talk about.
Thank you. Thank you very much, wise person.
This very wise person that one day I hope to talk about. And I don't believe they mind me sharing it because, it's something that helps everyone. So every person that I've taught this to has their own version of it. My mom added some holies and amens to it, and who knows what. So whatever works for you. If you're watching this right now, follow along as we close our episode. Follow along with us and do this. So during this episode, we brought up a lot of topics. Some might have been negative because we were trying to use examples. So now that we've brought up that energy, that it's in our mind, that you guys have heard it too, we're going to get rid of that energy because we don't need that lingering in our minds, in our body for the rest of the day. So we are going to tell the universe that energy does not belong to us. I close any portal I might have opened, because we open energy portals, a whole nother topic we need to talk about later.
Yes.
So close, I'm going to say it all at once so you guys can hopefully understand it. So that energy does not belong to me. I send it out to the universe. I close any portals I might have opened. And then if you have any connection to the divine, or if you experienced anything, or if you don't, we need you to really imagine this beautiful bright light that comes from above. It enters your crown. It fills the inside of your body. It can wash over you, or it can wash inside of you, from your head to your toes. And then there is a shield that is placed on you where no negative energy can now penetrate. Sometimes you might have to do that a couple of times. We've touched on this before, but I think we should do this at the end of every episode as we wrap up, to let people leave with a just clean, beautiful, bright slate for their day as they continue their day, or as they start their day whenever they watch this. So with that, I say goodbye. Lauren, hopefully we'll send you some love.
Will it work today? Will it work? Come on, hearts.
Lauren,
all right, well, sending you lots of love. There we go.
And with that, thank you so much for any time that you shared with us here. And please Let us know what you think of this as we grow together.
Yes, we love you. Sending so much love and light.
Lauren loves you more than I do.
Okay.